Something deep is shifting in your reality right now. There was no trumpet, no flashing sign, just that quiet tug in the chest that won't let go. If this found its way to your screen, it's because the field is aligned with your frequency, not because of chance. Those random numbers, overheard phrases, and strange timing, they're signals, not noise. Quick win before we even start. The next time a sign lands today, pause and ask, what tiny action would honor my truth? Then do it in under 2 minutes. If the next hour feels lighter, that's coherence saying hello. There's a threshold where the old no longer fits and the new isn't familiar yet, and staying here takes courage. Most turn back, negotiating with fear. Staying is a declaration. I am ready. Behind the scenes, alignment is already happening, even if the mind is still catching up. You think skydiving at the door, knees shaky, view wide open? Fear isn't error, it's the body's way of measuring expansion. The task isn't to be fearless, but to be aligned, breath steady, choice honest, step small and true. This is where the observer meets the field, where resistance becomes signal, and from here, tiny moves can collapse time. You might have noticed lately that reality feels different. Patterns are showing up everywhere, numbers seem to follow you around, and conversations carry hidden meanings just for you. This isn't random, it's resonance. Life is constantly shifting and responding to the frequency you carry, even if the surface looks chaotic. When someone keeps seeing 1111 on clocks or repeating digits like 222, it awakens an inner intuition that whispers, pay attention. These are not coincidences, but a quantum field communicating in symbols. The observer in you is slowly aligning with a broader consciousness, and in 2 minutes, I'll show you why these synchronicities are not superstition. They're codes. Sometimes the first signs come through loss or sudden changes. People disappear, friendships dissolve, or jobs collapse with no clear reason. At first, fear knocks loudly, afraid of uncertainty, afraid of rejection. But through awareness, you begin to notice a deeper alignment. Energy rearranges itself to match your next stage of expansion. Trusting that process requires resilience and, yes, courage, because letting go feels uncomfortable. Yet these moments of shifting are quantum breakthroughs disguised as endings. If you've ever had someone walk out of your life overnight and later realize their absence created freedom, you've already witnessed this code in action. Another common sign is a heightened sense of intuition. You might walk into a room and instantly feel the vibration is off. Or perhaps you sense something before it happens, like thinking of a friend moments before they text. This field of awareness is expanding, and your soul is tuning into frequencies once ignored. For example, maybe you decide to take a different route home and suddenly avoid an accident that happened on your usual path. That's not chance, it's coherence between your energy and the quantum timeline. The more you trust your intuition, the easier it becomes to align with signs guiding you forward. Let's be real, awakening can feel weird at first. You'll question your own mind, wondering if you're making things up. One moment you're laughing at how absurd it seems, and the next you're overwhelmed by synchronicities too loud to ignore. Think of it like tuning a radio. At first there's resistance, static and confusion, but once the dial locks into coherence, everything comes through crystal clear. Many resist because they want proof. But breakthrough often comes without material evidence, living inside courage and trust. What if the truth is that your soul is preparing you for a quantum shift right now? The signs also show up in the body. Have you ever noticed sudden fatigue out of nowhere, vivid dreams, or even bursts of energy at midnight? Your vibration is shifting, and your nervous system is learning to operate at a new frequency. This can feel like waves of energy moving through you, sometimes joyful, sometimes challenging. For instance, during my own process, I would wake up at 3:33 a.m., night after night, heart racing, thoughts racing, as if my DNA itself was recalibrating. Later, I realized it was my soul's declaration. I am ready. The body often speaks before the mind understands. Synchronicities also appear through music, conversations, or even random strangers who say the very words you needed to hear. Imagine asking yourself a question in silence, and the next day, a stranger casually mentions the answer. These subtle patterns are the field weaving conscious awareness into your ordinary life. They feel magical, but in reality, their frequencies meeting in alignment. Resistance creates delays, but openness speeds up coherence and shows you truth in unexpected places. If you've had one of those spine-tingling moments where reality feels scripted just for you, welcome, that's awakening. And in 2 minutes, I'll reveal why these signs are not just curious events, but quantum codes, guides in disguise. Even animals and nature become part of this dialogue. You may notice a butterfly crossing your path at the exact moment you needed reassurance, or a sudden shift in weather reflecting your emotional state. The soul communicates not just through logic, but through symbolism and resonance in the field around you. Once, while going through a difficult separation, I kept seeing hawks in the sky above me. Every time I doubted, they appeared, as if courage itself was watching. Over time, I learned to trust the synchronicity instead of fearing it. These external signs mirror the inner expansion taking place. Here's the paradox. Awakening often begins subtly, almost like a whisper, but before long, the signs accelerate. Patterns repeat, synchronicities multiply, and the field becomes almost loud with signals. Yet the more aware you are, the easier it feels. At this point, reality itself bends toward alignment with your vibration. You're no longer simply an observer, you're a co-creator, courageously participating in your own awakening. And maybe you've started to wonder, what if these signs are actually preparing you for a much bigger reset? Well, in just a moment, I'll show you the exact mistake people make when these codes appear, and why denying them is the biggest resistance of all. Denial is the quiet brake that keeps the car from moving, even when the engine is humming. It's resistance dressed as logic, asking for proof, while the field asks for trust and alignment instead of doubt or fear. The ego loves certainty, spreadsheets, and risk-free guarantees, but quantum expansion doesn't print receipts before the breakthrough. It calibrates frequency and vibration through courage and coherence. Think about delaying a hard conversation for weeks, then feeling the energy drain and the observer shrinking each day, one tiny collapse at a time. The longer denial lingers, the louder the body becomes, sending signs, patterns, and synchronicities that nudge awareness back to truth. The soul whispers, "I am ready," but the mind replies, "Show me first," creating misalignment in the field and quantum time delay. Denial isn't bad, it's a protective script, but it stalls authenticity and the light looking to move through. In 2 minutes, this will map into a practical code you can run daily to reduce inner resistance and increase coherence in action. Here's a real-world pattern. Someone feels pulled to change cities, they sense new energy and a cleaner frequency, yet they rationalize until their vibration tanks and their mood spirals into emotional fog. Then stress symptoms show up as a wake-up call, not a punishment, but a signal from the nervous system. Polyvagal science explains how the body scans for safety. When the story fights the signal, neuroception fires alarms and the system tightens, translating inner conflict into fatigue, anxiety, or shutdown. The observer thinks random, but the body is reading the field faster than thought, asking for alignment and safety cues to restore flow and courage. The mistake is arguing with the data in your own fascia, ignoring patterns, signs, and synchronicities that speak in energy before words. Trust is not blind. It's somatic literacy meeting consciousness, a declaration that says, "I am ready," in action, not theory. Quantum breakthrough happens when awareness and behavior match frequency, not when the spreadsheet finally smiles. In 2 minutes, a simple reset to test the code without blowing up your life will be on the table. Let's translate this into a kitchen counter test. Micro moves that reduce resistance while honoring fear as information, not the boss. 5 breaths down the belly, 30 seconds of cold water on the face, and 1 honest sentence spoken out loud to anchor safety and alignment in the field. Diaphragmatic breathing boosts vagal tone, calming the body so intuition isn't drowned by noise, restoring coherence and awareness. Progressive muscle relaxation releases stuck energy, so decisions don't feel like cliffs, shifting vibration toward trust and resilience. Social engagement: call a grounded friend, make eye contact, hum a tune, signals safety to the nervous system and raises frequency. Cold water stimulation lowers heart rate and teaches the observer to stay present during intensity, building courage without white-knuckling. These are quantum-friendly tools because they alter state first, then story, creating a clean signal for the field to reflect. In 2 minutes, you'll see how to read number patterns like 1111 as timing cues, not superstition, actual codes for action windows. Numbers repeating like 1111, 111, 333, 585 often correlate with moments of heightened awareness and alignment, serving as symbolic checkpoints that mark a quantum time prompt for clarity and movement. Spiritual sources interpret 1111 as an activation for consciousness and manifestation, a call to trust and step into coherence with the field's invitation. Rather than chasing the number, use it as a breath bell. Inhale, exhale, choose 1 aligned micro-action within 2 minutes. Send the email, decline the misaligned invite, research the city, move energy into motion. This ties synchronicity to behavior, creating feedback between observer and reality that amplifies resilience and authenticity. The point isn't magical thinking, it's using symbols to reduce hesitation and increase alignment. Seen this way, signs become training wheels for courage, not crutches for certainty, reinforcing trust through embodied steps. In 2 minutes, a mini protocol will help map fear versus guardian, so you stop fighting the messenger and hear the message. Here's the mini protocol. When a sign lands, pause for 5 slow breaths, name the fear in 7 words or less, then ask, what's the smallest courageous action that honors my truth? And do it before the mind renegotiates. Tiny, aligned, repeatable. This sequence calms state, clarifies signal, and converts awareness into momentum, shifting vibration from resistance to readiness. If the action is too big, chunk it down. Instead of move cities, search neighborhood safety maps for 10 minutes, email 1 contact, or book a 24-hour scouting trip. Coherence through micro-commitments. Pair each step with a closing ritual like humming for 60 seconds to anchor safety in the body and keep the field responsive. The soul gets a vote, the nervous system gets a plan, the observer gets evidence of progress, building trust brick by brick. Over time, synchronicities increase because your signal is cleaner and your alignment predictable, which the field can match. In 2 minutes, let's reframe fear as a guardian at the gate, not an enemy in the dark. Everyday scenario. Holding on to a relationship out of history, not alignment, late-night texts, early morning dread, a mismatch in values that drains light and authenticity. Letting go isn't cruelty. It's coherence, the honest declaration that both souls deserve a frequency that fits the season they're in. Practical steps. Write a boundary script, schedule a calm conversation in daylight, and replace the habit loop with a walk, a call to a supportive friend, or a class that rebuilds identity with truth and resilience. Many find that detachment creates clarity and opens energy for what's aligned, a reset that feels like breath after being underwater. The field responds to clean decisions. Ambiguity keeps loops open and drains vitality, delaying the quantum breakthrough waiting on the other side. Use 1111 as a timing cue to send the message or put the plan on the calendar. Action marks the end of the old pattern. In 2 minutes, the guardian dog metaphor will make fear laughable and movable. Think of fear as a guard dog on a short leash. Loud bark, familiar territory, but it can't chase past the line if you don't run, stand, breathe, and it learns your new command set: courage, trust, alignment. Polyvagal methods help here. Slow exhales, safe eye contact, humming, and short bursts of cold water reprogram the body's reflex so the bark loses its bite, and the observer keeps authorship in quantum time. Add a micro-dare each day, a 30-second truth, a 5-minute research sprint, a single no that preserves energy, and watch reality reconfigure around your declaration. The shift isn't about never feeling fear, it's about moving with it, using it as a compass toward growth and authenticity. With practice, the nervous system reads new cues of safety and aligned behavior, increasing coherence and resilience. This is how frequency stabilizes and the field mirrors back cleaner opportunities, people, and timing. In 2 minutes, a simple alignment ledger will help you track momentum without perfectionism. Build an alignment ledger for 14 days, 2 columns, aligned and draining, and log 1 action in each daily with a 1-sentence lesson, so patterns and signs become visible to the observer in real time. Tie entries to synchronicities. Did 11:11 appear before or after an action? So you can correlate trust with results and map coherence into practical momentum. If the draining side spikes, add breathing and social engagement tasks to restore safety and reduce denial loops. If the aligned side grows, increase challenge by 5%, keeping resilience high and fear in the guardian role, not the driver's seat. This ledger becomes a living field of feedback, a mirror for consciousness, a record of quantum expansion through small, consistent choices. It's simple, low-tech, and brutally honest, which is why it works under pressure and noise. In 2 minutes, the reset you've been sensing will feel less mythical and more mechanical, like a code you can run on demand. If the whisper in the chest keeps saying, "I am ready," but the mind stalls, remember, denial is expensive, clarity is cheaper, and aligned action is the best financing plan for any breakthrough in any field of life. The universe rarely argues, it reflects, so becoming coherent is the fastest way to see new doors and dissolve old resistance without drama or delay. This isn't superstition, it's structure. State shapes perception, perception shapes behavior, behavior shapes timelines in quantum time. Use numbers as bells, breath as a tool, and micro moves as signatures that tell the field you mean it. Authenticity over performance, truth over fear. Then watch how synchronicities tighten, how patterns flip, how courage starts to feel like common sense instead of a stunt. The next chapter? A radical reframe of loss that turns pressure into polish. Because maybe nothing was taken, everything was training. In 2 minutes, that diamond metaphor won't be a cliché, it will be a map for your reset in motion. Sometimes what feels like collapse is actually calibration, a shift that moves a life from noise to coherence so the field can meet the new frequency with alignment and truth. A breakup, a layoff, a friend who drifts. Each looks like subtraction until the observer steps back and sees the pattern as preparation. Pressure refines, it doesn't punish, it concentrates energy, strengthens resilience, and tunes intuition to a cleaner signal. Think of the quiet after a storm. Senses sharpen, awareness widens, resistance softens into trust. In that space, courage whispers, "I am ready," and the soul answers with a subtle declaration in quantum time. The light returns not as glare, but as guidance. In 2 minutes, there's a simple way to map this pressure into a repeatable code. Diamonds aren't born shiny. They're forged under absurd pressure, like deadlines that stack or bills that land all at once, and yet shape clarity where fear once echoed. The same with heartbreak. What seemed like loss turned out to be a quantum breakthrough in disguise, aligning values and revealing authenticity. Everyday example. losing a job, then noticing synchronicities. An old colleague calls, a course appears on discount, a project idea sparks at 11:11, and momentum begins. The field loves decisive energy, and readiness changes the vibration faster than logic alone. When alignment becomes the filter, patterns that used to trap now point to exits. Courage isn't loud, it's consistent. In 2 minutes, a pocket ritual will help convert grief into grounded velocity. Here's the pocket ritual. Breathe in for 4, out for 6, place a hand on the chest, and name the gain inside the loss. Space, time, clarity, dignity, so the nervous system registers safety and the observer returns. Then ask, what micro-action restores alignment? And do it within 2 minutes. Send the email, clean the desk, take a 10-minute walk, or journal 3 lines of truth. This tiny cadence shifts energy from rumination to motion, raising frequency and building trust. Repeat daily for 7 days to spot signs and synchronicities that confirm the new path. Resilience grows because the body learns the code. Feel, name, act, anchor. It's not about control, it's about coherence. And yes, humor helps. Laughing at old scripts reduces fear's volume. Personal story offered as a bridge. There was a season when 3 doors slammed, partnership, project and plan, within the same month. A clean sweep that felt like a free fall. On the surface, it looked like failure. Inside, it was a quantum expansion, a clearing to build work fully aligned with soul and truth. The first week was chaos. The second brought signs, repeating numbers, a chance meeting, a book recommendation at a cafe that stitched a new timeline. Courage didn't roar. It scheduled 1 brave call a day and honored rest like a contract. Within 90 days, the field responded with offers that matched authenticity instead of performance. The lesson: preparation often wears the mask of loss. In 2 minutes, a ledger you can copy will make this visible. Create a preparation ledger for 14 days. 2 columns. What left and what it made possible. Log 1 entry daily to train the observer to spot hidden upgrades. Example, friendship faded becomes evenings free for study, job ended becomes portfolio launched, rent hike becomes roommate found with aligned values. Mazis, this reframing isn't denial. It's precision about energy and pattern. The ledger teaches the nervous system that endings are data, not doom, lowering resistance and increasing coherence. Over time, synchronicities cluster around aligned entries. Like breadcrumbs in quantum time, trust compounds, fear recedes, and authenticity takes the wheel. In 2 minutes, a simple environmental reset will accelerate the shift. Environment shapes frequency, so clear 1 square meter today. Desk, nightstand, car console, to signal the field that space is ready and the soul is serious. Replace 1 draining input with a nourishing signal, a playlist for focus, a book that raises awareness, a daily walk to reset vibration, recommendations that pair well with this phase. Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill for mental alchemy, Atomic Habits by James Clear for micro-shifts, and The Untethered Soul by Michael A. Singer for observer clarity. Each page is a nudge toward alignment and resilience. Small changes recalibrate big timelines when repeated. In 2 minutes, a boundary phrase will protect the breakthrough. Try this boundary declaration when old patterns knock. I honor the history, but my alignment is non-negotiable. Said calmly, it reduces fear, increases coherence, and keeps energy in the lane where authenticity lives. Use it with invitations that don't fit, projects that dilute focus, or conversations that pull the frequency down. The goal isn't drama, it's clean edges, so the field knows exactly what to mirror. Watch how courage grows when clarity is spoken aloud. Synchronicities often spike right after, texts, openings, green lights that confirm the shift. In 2 minutes, a gentle audit can lock this in. Run a weekly audit called the 3 C's: Clutter, conflict, and compromise. Clear one pile, resolve one tension kindly, undo one unnecessary yes. This keeps the channel open for quantum breakthrough and sustained awareness. The observer becomes steadier, the soul feels heard, and the body relaxes into trust. Patterns that once looped now unwind and reweave into something that finally fits. The message underneath every ending becomes simple: preparation, not punishment. And if the wind is already changing where this is going, the next chapter deepens the reset. There's a difference between upgrading an app and installing a new operating system. Awakening doesn't just tweak habits, it rewrites the code, the frequency, the vibration of daily choices. The reset touches values, routines, identity, the whole field, not just one folder on the desktop. It's a quantum breakthrough where the observer stops negotiating with old patterns and starts aligning with truth and authenticity. Think of it as a phase transition. Water to steam, same essence, new behavior, wider freedom. Resistance shows up, sure, but it's just fear checking ID at the door while courage steps forward. I am ready becomes a living declaration, not a caption. In 2 minutes, a simple reset ritual will be laid out like a roadmap. This isn't about chasing more money or a perfect partner only. It's about coherence. Getting the inside story to match the outside timeline so energy stops leaking. When alignment lands, synchronicities tighten and quantum time compresses, bringing the right signs at the right moment. Imagine waking up and actually feeling the soul's priorities. Fewer tabs open, more presence, less noise, more signal. Everyday example. Shifting mornings from doom scrolling to 12 minutes of breath, journaling and sunlight. Watch how awareness shifts the whole day. The field mirrors clarity faster than hustle does. Ready doesn't mean fearless. Ready means truthful. In 2 minutes, a new identity sandbox will make this practical. Consider the identity pivot. Not trying to be disciplined, but becoming someone aligned with discipline. Small, repeatable moves that change vibration and behavior. Create a temporary alter ego name that reflects the reset. Something playful that signals courage and authenticity without pressure. For 7 days, let decisions root through this observer. What's the aligned move my reset self makes in this exact moment? Keep it tiny. One aligned yes, one honest no, one clean boundary. This sandbox lowers resistance and builds resilience by decoupling from the old storyline. Trust compounds when micro wins stack. In 2 minutes, a reset checklist will meet the real world where it actually lives. Calendar, kitchen, and conversations. Reset checklist. Remove one draining commitment, add one vitality ritual, and schedule one aligned action window every day for 14 days. Vitality rituals can be sunlight plus water, plus movement in 10 minutes, or a focused reading block that raises consciousness and coherence. Action windows are quantum time pockets, 90 minutes of undistracted focus on the singular task that moves the field forward. In the kitchen, swap one habitual comfort for a clean fuel choice to stabilize energy and vibration. In the calendar, protect a weekly pattern audit to surface hidden resistance. The result is momentum without burnout. In 2 minutes, a coherence room idea will anchor the reset in physical space. Build a coherence corner at home, a chair, a notebook, a soft light, a simple token that symbolizes truth. Use it only for alignment practices so the body associates that space with safety and clarity. Before big decisions, sit there for 5 breaths, ask one question, listen for intuition, then commit to a micro-action within 2 minutes. The consistency trains the nervous system to trust the signal and reduces fear spikes. This becomes a personal field where patterns unwind and new codes write themselves. Humor helps. Yes, tape a little sign. Quantum in progress. The goal is less drama, more signal. In 2 minutes, the reset triad will keep this sustainable when life gets loud. The reset triad: energy, environment, and edges. Energy is the daily charge: sleep, hydration, movement, light. So vibration stays steady and resilience rises. Environment is the friction level: simplify the access to what's aligned and increase the distance to what drains. Edges are declared boundaries, short phrases that protect truth, like "not aligned for me" or "circling back next week." When these three align, the field responds with synchronicities, opportunities, and unexpected support. Patterns that once felt sticky start sliding into place. The observer feels lighter, clearer, more authentic. In 2 minutes, a micro-experiment will let the reset prove itself fast. Run a 72-hour reset experiment. Choose one domain, health, work, or relationships, and apply the triad ruthlessly but kindly. Remove one friction point, add one vitality ritual, speak one clean boundary. Then track signs, mood, and results. Watch for coherence, smoother conversations, timely emails, easier focus, or an unplanned breakthrough. If resistance spikes, reframe it as a guardian, not an enemy. Breathe, recalibrate, and continue. This is quantum time in action. Small causes, non-linear effects. The soul isn't rushing, it's clarifying. In 2 minutes, a short script will help announce the reset without over-explaining. Announcement script for the reset: I'm shifting how I spend my time to align with what matters most. Expect simpler schedules, clearer yeses, and braver nos. Say it calmly, without apology, and let the field sort itself. The ones who are aligned will lean in. The ones who aren't will drift without drama. This clarity protects light, truth, and authenticity while freeing energy for what's actually calling. It's not personal, it's physics of the field. Courage feels quiet here, almost ordinary. And somewhere just ahead, a new chapter is forming where letting go becomes a ritual, not a threat. Letting go isn't a punishment. It's a phase transition, a shift that frees energy from old containers, so a new alignment can emerge with coherence and truth. The field can't pour into a cup that's already full, and resistance often masquerades as loyalty when fear worries about what comes next. Everyday example: keeping a group chat on mute for months, but never leaving because of history, while the vibration dips every time a ping lands. Courage here is gentle, a quiet "I am ready" that honors what was and releases what no longer fits. Authenticity is permission, not aggression. The ritual begins with awareness. Notice the patterns, the signs, the synchronicities pointing to freedom. In 2 minutes, a simple release script will make this practical. Here's a clear picture. Someone holds a friendship because they owe it to the past. But every hangout ends with a heaviness that lingers for days, a mismatch of values and frequency. Alignment isn't about who's right. It's about resonance. Energy either expands or constricts, and the body knows before the mind negotiates. Letting go is an act of trust in the field, a declaration that the soul deserves spaces where truth breathes. Practical move: pause after each interaction and rate the afterglow from 2 to +2 to reveal the pattern without drama. If it's consistently negative, the message is simple: shift. The observer doesn't need a villain to choose freedom. In 2 minutes, the release script lands. Release script spoken calmly: I'm grateful for what we shared. I'm shifting my energy to what's aligned now. This isn't rejection. It's respect for the season we're in. Short, clean edges protect light, reduce resistance, and keep the field clear for synchronicities to guide next steps. Follow with a micro-ritual: 5 slow breaths, a brief walk, and a single aligned action within 2 minutes to anchor the new timeline. If guilt surges, label it as a pattern, not a prophecy, and return to the breath. Freedom expands the nervous system's window of tolerance. This is coherence in motion, one honest sentence at a time. In 2 minutes, an inventory will reveal where energy is leaking. Run a simple energy inventory with 3 flat categories: people, habits, inputs. For each, ask, does this raise my frequency, hold it steady, or drain it? Circle 3 drains and design a tiny off-ramp for each. Skip 1 episode, reschedule 1 meetup, remove 1 notification. Shifting a single lever creates compound effects because quantum time favors clean signals. Everyday example, swapping late-night scrolling for a 15-minute stretch and water. By week's end, mood stabilizes and intuition gets louder. The observer gets data, not drama, and resilience climbs. The field answers decisiveness faster than perfection. In 2 minutes, a cord care practice will close lingering loops. Cord care is not about cutting people off. It's about tending to unseen ties of attention, emotion, and identity so the soul can breathe. Practice. Place a hand on the chest, name the bond with kindness, thank it, then visualize threads returning to the heart as light, restoring coherence and alignment. Pair this with a physical cue. Shake the hands, roll the shoulders, sip water to signal the body that the ritual completed. Repeat for 7 days and watch how synchronicities shift, how signs appear at thresholds, how courage feels softer and steadier. Humor helps. Think Wi-Fi reset, not end of the world. In 2 minutes, a decision matrix will simplify hard choices. Use the 3F matrix: fit, fuel, future. Fit asks, does this align with my values now? Fuel asks, does this add energy or siphon it? Future asks, does this move me toward who I'm becoming? If 2 out of 3 say no, it's a release or redesign. Keep choices binary to reduce cognitive friction. Stay with terms or step with grace. This trims the field without burning bridges, protecting authenticity and truth. Everyday example. Renegotiating a freelance contract to reflect the new scope instead of ghosting. Clean edges invite clean returns. Alignment compounds like interest when decisions echo the declaration. In 2 minutes, a micro-ceremony will honor closure. Closure ceremony, 5 minutes max. Set a timer, write a thank you note you won't send. Name 3 gifts received and 1 lesson that upgrades your code. Burn or archive the page with intention. I release resistance, I keep wisdom. Then do 1 small placement shift in the room. Move a plant, clear a shelf, wash a cup to signal the body that the timeline is shifting. This adds weight to the decision, letting the observer feel the transition in space, not just thought. The field reads embodiment faster than theory. Watch for a sign within 24 hours, a message, a number, a quiet ease. In 2 minutes, a boundary phrase will guard the new door. Boundary phrase for this season. If it hurts to stay, it doesn't fit. Followed by, I choose alignment. Short phrases reduce negotiation with fear and build resilience through repetition. Use them in real time, when an invite triggers dread, when an old habit knocks at midnight, when a conversation loops without truth. Over time, trust replaces tension, and the nervous system associates honesty with safety. The light gets brighter because the room gets simpler. Synchronicities increase because signal-to-noise improves. And right around the corner, the so-called enemy, fear, shows up with a surprise. It's actually a guardian at the gate. Fear is often the first bark at the gate, not the beast behind it. It tests alignment, checks frequency, and asks whether the observer is truly ready for the next shift in quantum time. Treat it like a dashboard light, not a verdict, information, not identity, a vibration requesting coherence and courage. In practice, fear spikes right before a breakthrough because the field is reorganizing, and the body wants safety signals while energy reshuffles. The trick isn't to fight it, but to listen and reroute, turning resistance into resonance through grounded action. Everyday example, before a big conversation, the mind spirals. Pause, breathe for a count of 6 out, and whisper, I am ready, to reset the system. That simple declaration builds trust with the soul and the timeline. In 2 minutes, a friendly metaphor will make fear less scary and more useful. Imagine fear as a guard dog on a short leash. It barks at anything unfamiliar, but it also protects the house, meaning it serves if given a job and clear commands. When the observer stands still, aligns breath and spine, the bark loses its bite and coherence returns to the field. Assign the dog a task. Watch the back door while I make this call, and move forward one step at a time, building resilience by doing, not debating. Humor helps. Thanks for the heads up, buddy, but I've got the front gate. The energy shifts from panic to partnership, and courage becomes pragmatic. That's the quantum breakthrough, fear transmuted into directional signal. In 2 minutes, a body-first reset will show how to cross the threshold without white-knuckling. Try this 90-second protocol before any high-stakes moment. Inhale through the nose for 4, exhale for 6, repeat 5 times, then hum for 20 seconds to vibrate the chest and lengthen the exhale. Place palm to sternum and name the feeling in 5 words or less. Tight chest, fast breath, worry. Next ask, what's the smallest aligned action now? And do it within 2 minutes. Send the message, open the document, walk to the meeting room. This sequence restores coherence and primes the field to mirror clarity. It trains the nervous system that truth equals safety, not threat. Over time, the vibration of fear recodes into usable energy. In 2 minutes, a micro map will tag fear types so action choices get cleaner. Map fear into 3 friendly buckets: growth fear, newness; boundary fear, potential pushback; and authenticity fear, being seen. Growth fear wants reps, tiny exposures that raise frequency. Boundary fear wants scripts, short phrases to hold alignment. Authenticity fear wants visibility practice, low-stakes sharing to normalize truth. Everyday examples: growth, ask 1 question in a meeting. Boundary, that doesn't work for me, here's an alternative. Authenticity, post a 30-second voice note to a safe circle. Labeling the pattern calms the body and clarifies the field. It converts fog into footing. In 2 minutes, a reframe will flip fear from stop sign to compass. Reframe, fear points to the border of the current identity, not the end of possibility. It highlights the edge where quantum expansion becomes available. When fear arises, assume proximity to a breakthrough and scale the move, not the goal. 1 step, 1 call, 1 sentence repeated. The soul reads that as readiness, and synchronicities often cluster right after. A timely reply, a door opening, a sign on the walk. Resistance softens because the observer keeps authorship. The field meets coherence with momentum. That's the quiet magic. No fireworks, just alignment. In 2 minutes, a simple guardian contract will formalize the new partnership. Guardian contract spoken softly. Fear, I see you. Your job is to alert. My job is to choose. We move together, steady, aligned, honest. Pair it with a physical anchor. Press thumb to forefinger as the word choose is said, to encode the cue into the body. Use it at thresholds, sending proposals, setting boundaries, speaking truth. Over time, the trigger becomes a trail marker, not a trap, and courage stops feeling like a stunt. The vibration stabilizes, and the energy field gets predictable in the best way. Patterns shift because choices do. In 2 minutes, a playful drill will train speed without rushing. Run the 2-minute courage drill daily, set a timer, pick 1 small task avoided for a week, and complete it before the bell. Email, schedule, tidy, or pitch. Keep it tiny, repeatable, winnable. The aim is coherence, not heroics. Track 3 signals after: breath ease, mood lift, and a sign or synchronicity within 24 hours. The ledger builds evidence that aligned action reduces fear faster than rumination. This is how resilience compounds. The observer becomes trustworthy to itself. In 2 minutes, a gentle toolkit will make this practical for life's messier days. Fear toolkit for rough weather, water, light, movement, and a sentence of truth. Drink a glass, step into daylight for 3 minutes, walk a hallway or stretch, then say, I choose the smallest aligned step. This resets the field and re-regulates the system, turning static into signal. Add a music cue that lifts the frequency, one song on repeat to anchor state. Keep the ritual so simple it survives chaos. That's how authenticity stays online when pressure rises. And just ahead, there's a moment when the bark fades, the path clears, and alignment clicks. There's a point where the inner noise quiets, and alignment clicks like a seatbelt. Suddenly the field feels responsive, the observer steady, the vibration clear. Choices stop feeling like coin flips and start feeling like a compass, pointing to authenticity and truth with less resistance. It's not luck, it's coherence, a shift from second-guessing to grounded yes or clean no in quantum time. Everyday example. Someone finally states their rate without apology, and within 24 hours an ideal client appears. Synchronicities meet courage. That's the frequency responding, not a fluke. The soul's declaration, I am ready, becomes a way of walking. In 2 minutes, a micro-pivot map will make this repeatable. The turning moment often begins small. One aligned email, one boundary spoken, one habit upgraded, and the energy moves like a tide changing. Patterns that used to loop now open like automatic doors because the signal is finally clean and the field can read it. Think of it as a phase transition, same person, new coherence, a quantum breakthrough in everyday clothes. Humor helps. Turns out clarity is cheaper than confusion. This is shifting from pushing outcomes to inviting alignment through consistent, brave steps. The frequency stabilizes as trust replaces fear. In 2 minutes, the map will turn choice into momentum. Use the micro-pivot map. Choose one domain, health, work, love, then ask 3 questions before action. Is it aligned? Is it kind? Is it true? If 2 are yes, move within 2 minutes to keep coherence high and resistance low. For health, that might be a 10-minute walk and water. For work, a single focused block. For love, a direct text instead of guessing games. This cadence builds resilience and reinforces a stable signal in the field. Synchronicities increase because the observer is consistent. The code becomes livable, not theoretical. In 2 minutes, an alignment stack will raise the ceiling. Try the alignment stack. State the intention. Breathe for 5 slow cycles. Visualize the outcome for 20 seconds. Then take one tiny action that proves the declaration. This stack upgrades vibration, primes awareness, and collapses decision fatigue into movement. Everyday example, aligned collaboration, breath, a 20-second picture of the meeting going smoothly, then sending the calendar invite. The stack turns readiness into reality, making quantum expansion feel mechanical, not mystical. Over time, this builds a personal field of reliability. Courage becomes a habit, not a high. In 2 minutes, a conversational script will unlock doors that used to stay shut. Script for decisive positioning. Here's what I can deliver, here's how we'll measure it, and here's the timeline that keeps quality high. Short, clear, grounded. This is coherence in language, authenticity in motion, and it signals trust to others. The response often surprises. Fewer negotiations, more yeses, and better fits, because the energy is aligned. If pushback arrives, fear becomes a guardian, not a stop sign. Adjust scope or timeline without abandoning truth. The observer stays steady while the field rearranges. Synchronicities love specificity. In 2 minutes, a momentum ledger will keep score the smart way. Momentum ledger. Track 3 signals daily. 1 aligned action, 1 sign or synchronicity, 1 lesson. This creates a feedback loop between choice, field, and awareness, stitching quantum time into a visible pattern. After a week, review entries and circle the top 3 leverage actions that created outsized results. Double those next week to amplify vibration without burnout. The ledger trains the nervous system to expect support when aligned, lowering resistance and fear. Results feel less like chase, more like glide. In 2 minutes, a recalibration ritual will protect the turning. Recalibration ritual for off days. Water, light, movement, then a 60-second truth talk into a voice note. What's real, what matters, what's next. This restores coherence and returns the observer to authorship, even when mood dips. Add a playful cue, quantum coffee, or field walk to lower friction and keep energy moving. The ritual keeps identity aligned with action, so the timeline doesn't wobble. Authenticity stays online because the body trusts the cadence. Courage feels ordinary again. In 2 minutes, a bridge will open to something bigger than personal wins. Because here's the deeper truth. When alignment lands, the field doesn't just hand out opportunities. It reroutes networks, lifts rooms, and heals patterns that preceded anyone alive today. The turning moment ripples outward as frequency, changing conversations, timelines, and even what others believe is possible. That's the quiet revolution of coherence, personal choice, collective shift. The soul's light stops hiding and starts guiding, and the signs multiply, not for ego, but for service. And maybe, just maybe, the real plot twist is coming next. One life changing many by design. A single honest choice sends ripples through the field, like a tuning fork raising the room's frequency, aligning patterns that once seemed stubborn. When one person breaks a cycle, people-pleasing, scarcity, silence, others feel the vibration and find courage to try their own micro-breakthrough. That's how awakening travels, through resonance, coherence, and the observer choosing truth in quantum time. Everyday example. A parent apologizes without defensiveness, and a child learns repair instead of fear. The network updates quietly, like code pushed live. I am ready becomes more than personal. It's communal alignment. In 2 minutes, a simple ripple test will make this visible. Think of the collective like a net of lights. When one bulb brightens, neighboring bulbs catch a bit of that energy and glow easier. This is why aligned boundaries are generous, not selfish. They reduce confusion and model authenticity for the group. Courage scales through example, not lecture, and trust raises the baseline of what feels possible. Patterns shift, meetings run cleaner, friends tell the truth sooner, families heal faster. The quantum part? Timelines compress when coherence spreads, so opportunities arrive in clusters. Synchronicities stop feeling rare and start feeling normal. In 2 minutes, a practical ripple habit will anchor contribution. Ripple habit. Once a day, do one small act that improves the shared field. Clear a miscommunication, share a template, leave a space better than found, tip extra when service was soul level. Keep it tiny but consistent so vibration stays steady and resistance stays low. This builds resilience in communities because generosity is a frequency that teaches safety. The observer notices faster feedback loops, help given, help returned, sometimes from unexpected directions. Authenticity turns social gravity into support. Quiet changes add up, then compound. In 2 minutes, a lineage reframe will connect this to ancestors and future ones. Lineage reframe. Personal healing is also ancestral debugging, releasing loops of fear, silence, and scarcity so the next branch grows cleaner. When someone ends a pattern of overwork, a future niece inherits a nervous system that trusts rest. When someone speaks truth kindly, a future conversation avoids rupture. This is quantum time at the kitchen table, past, present, and future entangled through choice and attention. Not grand gestures, steady ones. The field holds receipts in outcomes, calmer rooms, wiser risks, fewer explosions. The soul recognizes this as freedom, not theory. In 2 minutes, a simple family ritual will make it tangible. Family ritual for coherence, a 3-minute check-in. What's one win, one wobble, one wish, spoken without fixing or judging. This aligns awareness, lowers fear, and teaches the body that connection is safe even when imperfect. Add a shared phrase, same team, to anchor trust when tension rises. Over time, signs appear. Faster repair, briefer conflicts, more laughter, synchronicities of the human kind. The observer sees the network learning in real time. It's humble, it's powerful, and it spreads. In 2 minutes, a community script will scale this beyond home. Community script for clean collaboration. Clarity helps us move quickly. Here's the goal, roles, and timeline. Tell me what you need to do your best work. Short, kind, exact. This language keeps frequency high and reduces hidden resistance. It invites honesty without fear, so truth arrives before drama. The field loves this. Fewer detours, more momentum, better fits. Courage thrives where psychological safety is practiced, not preached. The quantum bit, alignment cuts delays, so collective results jump. In 2 minutes, a strange attractor metaphor will give this a playful edge. Becoming a strange attractor means embodying a signal so coherent that aligned people and ideas orbit naturally. It's not charisma, it's consistency, values, behavior, and boundaries vibrating together. The magnetism is quiet, built on trust and authenticity rather than performance. Everyday example, share one clear principle publicly, what you say yes to and what you won't, and watch how invitations organize themselves. Less chasing, more choosing. That's freedom disguised as structure. In 2 minutes, a contribution ledger will keep the arc grounded. Contribution ledger, log one action each day that lifted someone else's load by 1%, plus one sign that the field responded, an email, a thank you, a door. This isn't virtue signaling, it's pattern tracking, proof that energy given with alignment returns as coherence. Over weeks, resilience grows because meaning compounds, fear softens because trust has evidence, and the soul feels at home in its own light. The network hums, timelines smooth, and the next brave step appears almost on schedule. And somewhere ahead, a new opening is already forming, right where personal truth meets collective breakthrough. Don't wait for the perfect sign. The portal is open now, and the first step won't come from outside. It begins within, in a quiet alignment that the field can recognize and mirror back with coherence. The leap is spiritual, not logical. Logic optimizes the past, but the soul writes a new code in quantum time through trust, courage, and authenticity that shifts vibration and timeline together. Read that nudge in the chest as a declaration, not a doubt. I am ready, because readiness is a frequency long before it becomes a plan, and frequency invites the right doors and synchronicities to appear. There's a tenderness to this threshold, a light that asks, what truth wants to move through me next? And the smallest honest action is enough to answer. If this message feels like a mirror, take it personally. This video is a reminder sent by a future self who already crossed, steady and clear. That version has been leaving patterns, signs, and timing like breadcrumbs to make the crossing gentler and cleaner, free of unnecessary resistance. Let the mind relax, let the soul steer, and let the next aligned breath be the bridge into a new reality already taking shape around this choice. Comment, I am ready, or choose a single anchor word, freedom, presence, trust, and place it where the eyes will meet it daily so the nervous system learns the new signal by repetition and safety. Like this video and subscribe as a way to anchor alignment in the body. Small commitments create coherence that actions can follow with less friction and more flow. Share this with one person who's on the brink so the field expands and the collective frequency rises. One choice becomes many, and many choices become a tide that rewrites patterns for everyone touched by it. Next step, waiting on the end screen. If you're seeing this, your future self is already guiding you. Don't ignore this sign. Follow that thread and let it pull the timeline tighter, one clear step at a time.